Well, hey guys, it's the time of the month again for me to be doing my Trading212 portfolio. And as you could see by the title of this video, it's not just my Trading212, it's also my FreeTrade portfolio that I will be updating you on today. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, then you'll see that this is a very different environment for me. I normally sit in my office, and so I just decided to mix it up a little bit today and be in a different room in my house. And I'm going to try different angles and different rooms just to give a bit of variation to my backgrounds, because sometimes it's appealing to the eyes to see something different. So in today's video, I will cover my Trading212 portfolio and what has happened in the last 30 days. And if you are already an investor, then you'll know that this month has been crazy in the stock market, and so I'm excited to show you what's happened in my portfolio. But I will also be talking about my FreeTrade portfolio, which I have not done on my channel to date, and I'll just show you what's in there and what I think about the app. And I will also cover the fees. So of course, in the past month, Trading212 have announced their new fee structure for its investors, and so I will be touching on that, and I will show you what their fees are in comparison to FreeTrade. So there's quite a bit of ground that I'm going to cover today. So if you want to skip to a specific part, then of course just go down to the description box and you'll be able to see the timestamp, so you can go to the part of the video that you wish to see. But of course, if you want to stay with me the entire video all the way through, then it is greatly appreciated. Of course, don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I am approaching 1,000 subscribers and it's crazy and exciting, and the support is really felt and it's very much appreciated. But if you are someone who's watching my videos and you're not subscribed, why not join the community? Why not show me that you are enjoying the content on this channel? My portfolio is currently at £598.78. So it's up by about £25 in comparison to last month. Last month it was at £571. But this is not because I've seen better returns in my portfolio. It's because I've added £89 to my Trading212 account this month. So I'm actually a lot more down than I was last month, but the incredible thing is that I'm still in green. So you can see that I'm up by 9.7% still, which really is incredible in terms of how the stock market has taken a huge hit. And somehow my Trading212 portfolio has weathered the storm. So this shows me that I have a pretty solid portfolio on Trading212. But in comparison, last month my return rate was 25%. So it's down over 15% from last month. So I didn't receive any free shares this month, and that's probably got to do with the fact that Trading212 currently has a waiting list. So if you are someone who did sign up with my link last month or within the last 30 days, thank you so much, but you're probably on a waiting list now. So that free share for you and also that free share for me won't come through until you are off the waiting list. And for this reason, actually, someone had messaged me on Instagram to ask when I think the waiting list will stop. I have no idea how long Trading212 are going to be doing this for. And so this person was eager to get started now. And so I suggested to him to check out FreeTrade. And so that's why I think it's important to talk about FreeTrade in this video, because some people want to get started, and Trading212 right now are taking their time to get their system together. And so FreeTrade is an option to you if you want to get started sooner rather than later. But both links are below in my description, always on these videos. So my biggest winners for this month include Rolls-Royce Holdings. So in my last video, I talked about buying more while it was down, and you can see that it's paid off. I don't remember how many shares I had in my last video, maybe 10 or so, but now you can see I have 35 shares in Rolls-Royce because I had put more money into it, and it's paid off because I am currently up by 14.93%. which is equivalent to just over £5. And I did show you guys how Rolls-Royce is currently quite undervalued. And so I just thought it was a good time to put money in. And so I'm glad that I did. The next biggest winner is Royal Dutch Shell. So you can see that I'm currently up by 66.86%. And so that's really good, can't complain. Plus Royal Dutch Shell is a dividend payer as well, so that's just a bonus. Previously last month this was up by 44%, so I've seen about a 22% increase since last month, so it's really good. And then the next one is Legal and General Group, and I am up by 17.53%, which is great. And this is another pretty good dividend payer, so I'm quite glad to see that it's also up in the positive. And so this is one that I plan to keep in my portfolio long term. And last month I was up by 9.5%. So it's made a pretty good leap considering what's going on with the stock market. And yeah, quite happy with that. So biggest losers is pretty much everything else in my portfolio. So as you can generally see, there's actually still quite a bit of green, but some of these have really dropped since last month. So the first one that I'll talk about is American Battery Metals. So you can see that it's currently up by 81.46%, which of course is incredible. This was one of my penny stocks that I had bought, but last month it was up by 192%. So that's gone down by over 100%. So you can see that it really has taken a beating in the past month, but I really still can't complain. But it's still a biggest loser technically. So yeah, that's where that one is at. Next is iShares Global Clean Energy. So I've seen actually quite a few posts on this on social media of people who got in recently into iShares Global Clean Energy, and then it just took a real tanking. And so luckily I got in quite a while before, I guess, all these people were trying to get in. So I'm still in the green, but not by much. So I'm in the green by 5.2%. And last month I was up by 41%. So this has really tanked in comparison to last month. But again, this is one of my long haul stocks. It's about global clean energy. It's an ETF, and I just think it's here to stay. So I won't be getting rid of it anytime soon. And then my last biggest loser is Palantir. So I'm up by 11.15% currently, but last month I was up by 65%. So yeah, that's gone down a lot as well. The American stock market has been hit pretty hard, to be honest, in the last 30 days. And so this doesn't really shock me. Now for my new additions to my portfolio, I only have one this month, and that is the Invesco EQQQ Nasdaq 100. And this is an ETF, and it's tracking the Nasdaq 100 index. And you can see where I bought, which is the dotted line, and where it's at currently. So I'm at a loss currently, which is fine. I bought it after the stock market initially started crashing, and then it started crashing even more. So I'm down right now by 1.64%, so it's really not that bad. But I'm actually quite happy with this share because I feel like I've got it at a discounted price. I'm probably going to buy more as it's down still. So next month, hopefully I'll put more money into it. But if anyone's not familiar with the NASDAQ, it is a US-based index, and it's comprised of 100 companies that aren't in the financial services or sector. So some of the biggest holdings are like Apple and Microsoft and Alphabet and Facebook. All of those big names are included in the NASDAQ. And so, you know, as I said, the American stock market has taken a hit, but I do think this is going to go up over time. So yeah, I'm probably going to buy more. That's my only addition this month. So here you can see my total return is £22.25. That actually is just some shares that I have sold along the way. So if I've sold anything for a profit, it calculates here. So it tells me technically how much I've sold and how much I've profited. And I checked this out, and it's not, this number right here does not impact my return. So this return of £55 is not impacted by what I've sold. So these are two different, So these are two different numbers, which I'm quite happy about, because I wanted to make sure that the return rate didn't include investments that I had already sold, as was the case with my Vanguard portfolio, which if you've seen that video, you'll know what I mean. So I'm quite glad that that's kind of separate. So it's another bonus, I guess, of Trading212. But in terms of the dividends, I've only received 2 this month. So the first one is AbbVie, and I received that for 21 pence. And the second one was Royalty Income, which is a monthly dividend payer, and that was for 9 pence. Now AbbVie, you'll see, is not actually in my portfolio, but because I had it by the ex-dividend date, I still qualified for the dividend payment. If you're not too familiar with the dates in terms of dividends, I've made a whole video about this, so linked above. Feel free to check it out so that you're aware of what is meant by these dividend dates. Now, the long and the short of it is, I will not be leaving Trading212, because even with the introduction of these new fees that they have mentioned, it still is one of the cheapest platforms out there. And so I think people are freaking out, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if they're actually doing the calculations. I never personally expected Trading212 to stay free forever. It didn't really make sense. They needed to charge, and now people are upset that there's a fee involved, and I honestly don't get it. Like, they have to make money. So to be honest, I thought this was inevitable, but obviously some people don't, and their fees are still really reasonable. So the minimum deposit amounts are staying the same, so €1, $1 or £1, which is great. So the entry requirements are still low. If you're doing a bank wire deposit, which I'm not sure why you would do that, then the minimum deposit is £10, $10, €10. Now, here, let's talk about the fees. So the deposit fees will be $0 if you do a bank transfer from your account into Trading212. Now, I'm quite used to doing bank transfers because I do this with my TransferWise account. And so when I'm sending money to a different country, mainly the US, I use TransferWise, and I use this bank transfer option with TransferWise because the fees are the lowest. And so it's really easy. You just link it. You link your bank account to Trading212, put in the information, and then you can transfer it. And if you do that, then you pay nothing. $0, £0, €0. Now, as for the credit cards or debit cards, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Skrill, you will pay a fee of 0.7% after you've deposited £2,000. So once you've reached a £2,000 deposit into your Trading212 account, you will then have a fee, a transaction fee of 0.7%, not a transaction, a deposit fee of 0.7%. So this fee essentially can be very easily avoided. And so as I get closer to the £2,000 mark on Trading212, I will just switch over to bank transfers. Now, the minimum withdrawal amount is, again, £1, $1, €1, which I think is fantastic. And there's no withdrawal fees, which is the thing that attracted me the most to Trading212, because before I was using Trading212, I was using eToro, and you pay a $5 fee when you're going to withdraw from eToro, which I find really annoying. Whereas with Trading212, you don't have to pay a fee. I haven't actually withdrawn from Trading212 yet, but the fact that I can and there will be no fees is important for me. Now, here's the other part that people are freaking out about, is the currency conversion charge, which is 0.15%. Again, this is quite low, but I expected this to happen, because if you're buying a stock or a share in dollars, but you're using pounds, there's going to be a currency conversion that takes place. And essentially that does cost money. And so this fee makes complete sense to me. You can technically avoid it if you only buy stocks and shares in pounds. So that NASDAQ that I showed you earlier, that ETF actually is in pounds, so I won't pay a currency conversion charge. But of course, for other shares where they are in dollars, then there is a fee involved now. So FreeTrade, in comparison, the trades are free. The share dealing account fee is free. They offer fractional shares like Trading212, and then they have a foreign exchange rate, which is the currency conversion rate I just showed you on Trading212, of the spot rate plus 0.45%. So let's ignore the spot rate, but let's look at the plus 0.45% in comparison to the 0.15% of Trading212. Then I guess that just shows you that even with the introduction of the fee for Trading212, it's still quite a bit cheaper. One thing that I find funny on this FreeTrade website is that they compare to their competitors. So they compare to Hargreaves and Lansdowne, which the trades are much more, which is personally why I don't use them, and Interactive Investor and AJ Bell. So in comparison to them, they're the cheapest, but for some reason they decided not to compare themselves to Trading212. So that's really it when it comes to the fees. I think you just need to do your research and not get sucked into the hype sometimes when people are freaking out, because it's just not necessary. Went to Starbucks for lunch and got my vanilla iced coffee latte, and it's just been a long time. It's so good. As you can see, I've got a whopping £23 in this account, which obviously is not a lot of money. So I opened up my account in December and I topped it up with, actually I think I opened it in November, but I topped it up with £10 in December, and I bought 2 shares, or technically 3 shares, but in 2 companies. So I bought the MSCI World, which is a ETF which tracks the world markets. I think it's the developed world. It's the developed world, and that was £6.53. And then I bought 2 shares in the renewables infrastructure, and that was £2.55. And then I got a free share for using a referral link when I signed up, and the free share I received was the UK dividend. And then I got another free share because my husband signed up with my link, and that free share was Edinburgh Trust. And yeah, that's basically what I've got in my portfolio. In terms of the growth that I've seen, this is what I don't like about FreeTrade, which I didn't even realize until I saw someone else's video. It says I'm up by £13, which I'm not. That includes free shares. So those 2 free shares that I received, they include that in how much I'm up by, which I think is really ridiculous. And FreeTrade needs to change. But don't get excited by that, because if you look at that, you would think, oh, she's up by £13, so she already put in £10. Yeah, I put in £10, and then I received 2 free shares. So that's why it says I'm up by £13. In terms of the returns on these investments, so the UK dividend, I have 1 share and I have an investment gain of 9.95%, which is 63p, so nothing to be too excited about. Then the MSCI World, I am up by 5.62%, which is 37 pence. Edinburgh Trust, I'm up by 5.3%, which is equivalent to 29 pence. And then lastly, renewables infrastructure, I'm down by 8 pence, which is 3.06%. So to be really honest, I'm not sure if I'm giving FreeTrade a fair chance, because I feel like I started with eToro and then I moved over to Trading212 and I preferred it immediately. FreeTrade, I think it's a good platform. Some people actually prefer it to Trading212, and so I would recommend trying it out and at the very least signing up to get a free share like I did. So I've only actually put in £10 of my own physical money, and now there's £23 in there, and that's just from some of the free shares. But again, of course, right now, because Trading212 does have the waiting list, at least FreeTrade is there as an option if you just want to get started with investing. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, today's new setup, and I'm curious to know what you think about my portfolio. Let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, that's it for today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video real soon.